to another Millennial Monday. How is everyone's year going so far? Okay, well, I'm Mercedes, and I am here to bring you another Millennial Monday, bringing you all your adult book recommendations to bring joy. So sit back and breathe deep. Welcome back to Book Lorette, where one girl has to pick one book to read for the weekend. It's just so hard to find a book that I want to read. I have so little time. I can only pick one of these books to take on a date this weekend. Thank you all for coming tonight. This has really been a hard decision for me. Only one of you can join me on my couch this weekend. It's just so hard. One to watch. Will you take this rose as a symbol of my devotion and join me on this journey? So I think we all know that Mercedes watches too much reality TV, but have I ever watched The Bachelor? No, I have never watched The Bachelor, but I don't need to because I now have a book that does it better. One to Watch by Kate Stayman London is your next stay up all night till 3 a.m. binge fest of a book. Bea is a plus-sized fashion blogger after my own heart. She has legions of fans online who love her style and love what she stands for. But Bea hasn't been so lucky in love. Her longtime crush / best friend is engaged to another person, and Bea has never really allowed herself to think about having love or what it would even look like. But Bea then one night writes a scathing article about a reality show called Main Squeeze. What is Main Squeeze, you may ask? It is basically a more awful version of The Bachelor. All the women are size 2 and they get into catfights all the time. And Bea decides to take that show down, and she writes a scathing review of it where she says that real women in America don't look like this. We're diverse. We're different. We come from all different places. Yes, get it, Bea. Thank you. Main Squeeze finds themselves in a media storm. People lose their jobs. They get fired. Even the producer loses his job. They bring in a new producer, and she decides that this season of Main Squeeze is going to be different. They decide they want to cast Bea as the Main Squeeze, and 25 diverse men will all be vying for her attention. Can we just talk about the perfection of this book? Perfection. Mwah. Chef's kiss, okay? This is a body-positive book with a plus-sized heroine, and it slaps. It slaps, okay? This book slaps. One to Watch by Kate Stayman London is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Do you miss the days of Blockbuster where you would search through racks of DVDs for hours and hours, only to end up renting Spice World again for the billionth time? Me too, friends. Me too. And today on Millennial Mondays, I am giving you a special segment called Majestic Movies with Mercedes on Millennial Mondays. So I am going to give you an oldie and a newie. And yes, both of these movies can be checked out from the Scott County Public Library. Reign of Fire. Who remembers this movie? This movie came out in 2002. Yes, that means it's almost 20 years old. This movie was absolute perfection. It is PG-13, and it is about the apocalypse that happens because a cave in England was open and a dragon comes out and populates the world with dragons that destroy everything. This movie was everything. Christian Bale, pre-Batman. Prime Matthew McConaughey, like a year before How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days came out. And lest we forget Gerard Butler, years before 300 and Phantom of the Opera. I mean, I knew I was in for a ride when Matthew McConaughey drives up in an American tank and Gerard Butler looks out and says, "Only thing worse than a dragon, Americans." Is this movie good? Define good. This movie is an action-adventure, post-apocalyptic movie with dragons and people staring at the skies like this. Rate of Fire. Now for a new movie maybe you haven't heard of. It is Weathering with You, and the director is Makoto Shinkai, and he is one of my favorite anime directors of all time. He directed a movie called Your Name, which, in my opinion, is the best anime movie of all time. Sorry, Inuyasha fans. Weathering with You is a romantic drama that is set in the streets of modern Tokyo. A boy who is recently transplanted there from the country is facing financial problems as he is trying to get used to the new city. Then he meets a sunshine girl, a girl who claims that she can make the sun come out in the rainy streets of Tokyo. They decide to team up and use the Sunshine Girl's magical powers to charge people to have sunny days. So a dad will want to play soccer with his kid in the park, and they will hire the Sunshine Girl to come out and stop the rain so that they can play in the park. Weathering with You is a perfect 5 out of 5 star movie, and if you've never watched anime before, I would suggest starting with Your Name just because this movie is so amazing. It's so good. But Weathering with You really is a great follow-up to one of my favorite anime movies of all time. Wingardium Leviosa. Mercedes, what are you doing? I'm working on my spells. I haven't gotten my Hogwarts letter yet, but I think that's obviously a mistake. What? You poor brainwashed millennial child. Wait, what is this? Give this to me. This isn't a wand. This is a pen. So I can write spells. Oh, magic isn't real. I do not care what anyone says. It is just a matter of days before I get my Hogwarts letter. Like, days. And I love magical books. And if you do too, may I suggest The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This book is magical. It is everything. It is a cross between Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett's Good Omens and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. That is the best way I can describe it. Linus Baker is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth. He goes into orphanages that take care of magical children, so gnomes, pixies, witches, etc. And he makes sure that they are being well looked after. Linus is 40, he's pudgy, and he listens to records in his house all by himself. I mean, who of us hasn't put a Nora Jones vinyl on in their house and cried? Am I right? Just me. Linus has been on the job for 17 years, so he's taken a little bit aback when extremely upper management calls him into their offices. They have a new case for him. It is a strange orphanage on an island in the middle of nowhere, and they want Linus to go there and make sure the orphanage is up to standards. And when he gets to the house, he finds the strangest man, Arthur Parnassus, who is in charge of the strangest orphanage that he has ever been to. Among the children, he finds a garden gnome, a dragon with a hoard under the couch, a fairy spirit, and Lucy, which is short for Lucifer. But as his relationship with Arthur grows and he gets to know the orphanage just a little bit better, he realizes that this band of misfits might actually be his true home. So I love this book. It radiates positivity. It talks about what it means to be different. And Linus has to learn a lot himself and grow throughout this novel. He has to realize that prejudice exists in the world, that it's okay to be different, and sometimes the rules are meant to be broken. And I just love that message so much, that it's okay if you're different. It's okay if you're not like everyone else. And you will find people in your life that will become your family. And I think that's the main message of this book, that found families can happen and you can find other people that are your true family. This is a story about magic. This is a story about hope. And I hope you check out The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. And last but not least, I want to spend a little time today talking about the craft books that we have here at the Scott County Public Library. So we have hundreds of craft books in our nonfiction collection. So if you wanted to learn how to paint or do origami or crochet or knit, we have tons of books to get you started. But today I want to talk about a hobby that is near and dear to my own heart. So back in 2016, I picked up my crochet hook. I was trying to find a little peace, a little comfort in my life, and I wanted to create quilts and scarves and things that would bring me joy. And also, one of the things that really got me back into the hobby was amigurumi crochet. Amigurumi is a Japanese word that means crochet toy. And that's what it is. They are these really adorable little crochet toys. And in 2016, when I picked up my crochet hook back up, I wanted to make something that was really cute and that would bring me joy. And the great thing about amigurumi crochet is that it is really good too for beginners, because it uses the most basic and simple crochet stitches to make these animals or creatures. The library has tons of books to help you get started if you wanted to learn how to make amigurumi crochet toys, but I'm going to recommend two books to you today to help you get started. So the first is The Complete Idiot's Guide to Amigurumi. And this really has a very basic explanation of what it is, the materials that you're going to need to do this as well, because there are a few extra things that you're going to need to get this started that you may have not thought about. You're going to need things like fill for the animals, so you have to buy stuffing, and little eyes that you're going to put into the animals so they have cute little eyes. And this has a very easy explanation of all the materials you're going to need and how to get started. And then once you have all your supplies and you've got the basics of what it is down, I'm going to go ahead and recommend to you Whimsical Stitches, a Modern Maker's Book of Amigurumi Crochet Patterns. So this book is really great because it has full color tutorial pictures, and it also has the patterns that you're going to need to go ahead and start making some of these really cute crochet toys. I mean, don't you want to make these jellyfish? Aren't they absolutely adorable? But we have lots of other books too as well if you want to learn how to do just about anything. Just call up your public librarian at 502-863-3566 and ask us about what hobby books we have. And that's going to be it for another Millennial Monday. Make sure to go ahead and like and follow us on Facebook. And of course, check out our website, www.scottpublib.org, for any more upcoming events. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now let's go ahead and dance party out of here.